Mokhtar with us today. Let's wait for Ustaz Kamal Mohktar, inshallah, for our great topic today, Shariah Investing, Performance with Principle. Okay. Let's wait for Ustaz. Right. Assalamualaikum everyone. Okay, Ustaz, if you are already in the live, Ustaz, please request to join the live so that I can add you on to the IG live. Okay, let us wait for a moment while Ustaz enter the IG live and request. Okay. Okay, let's wait for a moment. Okay, Ustaz Kamal Mohktar, you have joined. Okay. Alright, you're there with us. Please press to request. Alright. Okay, Ustaz. Okay, do you hear me clearly, Ustaz?
Okay, I can hear you. I was using my laptop that I did. So, okay, it's alright.
Okay. Alright, Ustaz. Let's just start. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good evening. Thank you for being here tonight and welcome to our series More Than Just Money, a series for anything that is Islamic related. Let me first introduce myself. My name is Nurul Iman. I am in the research department of IF at SG, covering Sharia and also finance. Islamic finance, or IF at SG, is a community of scholars, finance professionals, and students of Islamic finance. What started as a WhatsApp group has now become a society in the making with a long-term goal to serve the Singaporean community through Islamic finance. Tonight, Alhamdulillah, I'm honored to share this platform with Ustaz Kamal Mohktar with the topic Shariah Investing, Performance with Principles. Ustaz Kamal Mohktar has been a member of Shariah Committee at Maybank since September 2015. He also serves as a judge at Shariah Appeal Court of Singapore. Prior to these roles as a senior Shariah advisor and research analyst at Shape Financial Corp from 2009 to 2013, where he was involved in the formulation of Sharia funds, the structuring of sukuks, and project globally. He serves as an associate member of the Fatwa Council in MUIS and is a member of Asatiza Recognition Board ARS. Ustaz Kamal obtained his first degree in zoology and botany from NUS, his second degree in Islamic Studies and Prophetic Tradition from University of Medina, and has a Masters of Applied Finance from IIUM. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Ustaz.
Waalaikumsalam. How are you, Ustazah? Thank you very much for having me. I hope we have a good discussion.
Inshallah, we are so excited to discuss on investing about Sharia in Shariah's concept, Ustaz. Alright, so Ustaz, let's dive into the question. So the first question, investing itself is very risky. Already in this pandemic has resulted in Singaporeans having their portfolio reduced by a lot compared to the Asian markets according to the Fidelity Investment Survey. But if history were to teach us a lesson, Ustaz, just by being invested in equity, we can expect a 10% growth annually. So for those who have not started investing, why should they start investing now, and what it is so Islamic about investing, Ustaz?
Okay. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alamin, wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin, Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. And Alhamdulillah, thank you very much for having me tonight. With regards to investing, this is from my personal experience, and I think investing should be started as soon as possible. Whether there is pandemic, whether there is inflation, depression, or deflation, one should learn how to invest as early as possible. And as you learn investment, you will get better as you go on. Start small. Okay, start small. From my own personal experience, I learned investment during my master program way back in 2013. Okay, 2013 when I did my master, and my perception of taking my master is different from other students. I wanted to know what is applied finance. So as an experienced worker with other students, my questions were quite different from the other students. Okay, I wanted to know what are the things that is pertinent with regards to investment. And I'm involved in Islamic finance for quite some time, from 2009. So I realized that there are many issues that I'm not quite familiar, especially in terms of conventional finance. Though I conduct courses and people from various fields, experts from various fields, investment, CEOs, okay, investment managers, when they ask me a few questions, some questions I'm not able to understand, because Islamic products, I'm quite familiar with all Islamic products. So it spurs me to learn and to upgrade myself. So in 2018, I started investing. Okay, and when I started investing, I was doing SGX, Singapore Stock Exchange. And I think anybody can start with Singapore Stock Exchange because the risk level is quite low. Yes, there are risks, but the risk is quite manageable. Because when you talk about SGX, you're talking mostly on Singapore listed companies and also local companies. You can see the companies with your eyes and you experience them. Comfort Delgro, and then you see Singapore Post. Okay, so all these things you can experience them yourself and you know the performance of this company. Okay, so and you can start with a small amount. And in 2018 I started off, and the first thing that I wanted to know was whether it was Sharia compliant. That was my main worry. Whether performance wise it's not so much of an issue. I wanted to invest in Sharia compliant companies, and I started off with Sabana. Very easy because they have their own Sharia experts, Sharia advisors. So I invested in Sabana. I made some money, very small money. I started with only $300. Okay, so anybody can start $200, $300 Singapore. You start with only one lot, which is 100 shares. So if the shares cost about $2, so you just start with only $200. Okay, you can lose all that money. It's okay. It's a learning process. Okay, and after that, I move on to other shares, and I somehow after about two years plus, almost 3 years, I kind of understood the market. Because I spend a lot of time studying the companies. I spend a lot of time in front of my computer, looking at the financials, looking at the business. okay, and making some profits myself. And the first year I was making at about 18%. I think it's quite reasonable, right? 18%. So you talk about 10% is quite big. It's actually getting 20-25% is possible. Okay. So I made 18%. Second year I made sorry, I can't hear you.
Okay, Ustaz, can you hear me right now?
Okay, okay, now.
Okay, so now, like, we understand that investing is such an important thing. We need to take the first step because investing is a way how we grow our wealth, Ustaz, right?
Yes.
But in times of pandemic, when people have this worry, okay, like should we save or should we invest? What do you advise, Ustaz?
Okay. Yes, during pandemic, the market is we can say the market is berkecamuk lah. Like uncertain. There's a lot of movement, and I lose money. I lose money during the pandemic because a lot of companies drop up to 40%. Okay, and in fact, during the pandemic is the best opportunity for anybody to get into the market.
Oh,
Because
interesting.
the price of many companies drop 30%, 40%. And these companies are solid companies. It dropped because of the pandemic. Almost every company dropped 40%. Okay, so if you are not familiar, you feel afraid. But if you know that it is something like it's like a low tide, all ships just get stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
It's just because of low tide. Everybody suffers the same fate. So if you know that, that is actually the best opportunity for you to get in and buy the company. And you'll make good returns, and you have to be patient. But if you start during that time, of course you feel worried. But if you're familiar with the market, you will take advantage of the market. Okay? But if let's say you are new, you enter into the market, you will learn. And I lose some money. I definitely lose some money because that's a learning process. It's a learning curve. Okay? First year I made 18%. Second year I made 25%. 25%. But then the third year, the pandemic happens. And the pandemic is very uncertain. So you cannot base on fundamentals, because when you invest, you base on fundamental analysis. You study the financial reports, you study about the performance of the company for the past 5 years, you look at the financial mode. All these are fundamentals. You can quite certain, you know that this company will grow based on this fundamental analysis. And these are solid companies. But these companies lose 30%, 40% because of the pandemic. And somehow you get, you are quite worried.
Yes.
But after a while, you see that the graph, okay, and the company recovers. The confidence come back. That's where you say, okay, I'm back in the market.
Yeah. So we need to have the patience in investing. And
yes.
so to conclude, Ustaz, the best opportunity, like Ustaz mentioned, the best opportunity to invest is during a pandemic, because this is the time where we take the advantage, where market is going down, but we need to also know that there is a risk, but we know that these companies are solid and they will grow in time, hence we need to have patience. Correct, Ustaz?
Yes. Correct.
Thank you so much. It's very clear, okay, about are we supposed or we are not supposed, and what is the advice that Ustaz gave us on investing, okay, and during pandemic. Next, Ustaz, on screening services. Okay, we talk about, like Ustaz mentioned, when we talk about Islamic investing, okay, we want to know if it's Shariah compliant. Okay, hence there are many companies offering screening solutions, from the comprehensive idle ratings to the newly launched Amna Trade. While their softwares are able to conclude whether a listed company is compliant, it is very much automated using data from third-party providers. How reliable is this automated screening process compared to the traditional sifting of the annual report, Ustaz?
Okay. To me, personally, I rely on my own screening process. Okay. So my main concern, because when I started off, I started off with screened by Shariah advisors. I started off with Sabana because my main concern was Sabana, and then I practically learn the screening process in terms of the industry, because first thing is you look at the industry, right? You try to stay away from pork-related companies, stay away from alcoholic, tobacco, and all those insurance, banking, conventional banking, and all those companies that you are supposed to stay away from. Okay, and then after that we go into the financials, which is 33% as a guide. But I believe all these screening process, especially on the financials, they are a guide for institutional investors. Institutional investors meaning uh, investment companies, banks, Islamic banks. When they want to invest the funds, they are supposed to follow a certain criteria because they were given a mandate by the investors. They are supposed to follow this criteria, and they have to follow. Okay, but for retail and also for institutional investors, they are exposed to the worldwide market. They can invest in US stocks, you can go into Australian stocks, London, and then Singapore or anywhere. Okay, but for retailers like us, for instance in Singapore, you cannot follow such criteria. Okay, you cannot. This could be shocking. It's like, oh, why am I not following the Shariah screening? I am following the Shariah screening, but the percentage, the financials, is quite impossible for you to follow. Okay, and if you look at the companies that propose the screening process, normally they have Shariah advisors. Okay, that's how I understood, because any organization, when they give Shariah advice, they should have a Shariah team, Shariah advisors, comprising maybe at least 3 persons, 5 persons, or 7. In Maybank, we have 7 people involved in the screening process. But when you talk about countries in Singapore, it's quite difficult to determine the 33%. First thing is that, if you are a company, if you are a company that is placed or based in a Muslim majority country, okay, 33% is quite feasible and quite possible. And also you have Islamic bank, so you cannot compare Singapore and Malaysia, because you're comparing apple and pear,
Yes.
Because Malaysia, you have 60% population, Muslim population. You have 14 Islamic banks. You have foreign banks. In Singapore, you have nothing.
Correct.
Okay, you have only 2 Islamic windows. So if you want to follow the same criteria, it's not possible for people like me to invest. You want to invest with company that follows the strict 33% requirement, then you have to invest only in mediocre companies. Mediocre companies that don't give you good returns, and that, I don't think that is Islamic. Islam don't ask you to go for the lowest returns in your investment. No, where you are, I believe wherever you are, being a Muslim is not a liability. That you need to understand. It's not an disadvantage. So if let's say you are in any country, there's no Islamic bank, you use the conventional bank. If there's no Islamic insurance, there's no takaful, you use the conventional insurance. That is also the practice even by Islamic bodies. Okay, so they say that if you go to a country, you want to provide financing and there's no takaful, you use the conventional insurance, and that is worldwide practice. So for us in Singapore, for companies who need financing, they will have to use conventional banks. Okay, so the 33% cannot be followed. Okay, especially during pandemic, because when during pandemic, then companies have to borrow more, and the government allows company to increase their limit. Example, for REITs, normally they give you about 40% limit. 40% limit, but because of the pandemic, the government increased the limit to 50%. That is the reason why Sabana has to change I believe that is the reason why Sabana have to change the status of the Sharia. Okay, because they cannot comply with the 33%. You are having problem because companies need to survive. Of course, you need to take financing. You borrow money because you need to survive. If you still stick with 33%, then the company have to close down. Is that what Islam? Is that the principle of Islam? They ask you to close down just because of the 33%. And on top of that, the 33% is not even a requirement. It's not even a requirement. The 33% is a requirement for wasiat. That
Oh,
hadith is with regards to wasiat.
this is a new
You
knowledge.
cannot find. Yes, yes. The hadith is with regards to wasiat. That is only a guide taken by our Sharia scholars to limit the loan. They say 33%. Where is that? You cannot find in the Sharia. You cannot find in the Quran, you cannot find the hadith which limits 33% in terms of your loan. But they take a guide. They say there's a hadith, was-thulusul kathir. 1/3 and 1/3 is a lot, right? That hadith is with regards to wasiat.
Wasiat.
Okay? It's not about finance.
Of finance, Ustaz. But why do actually, if we look into the 6 different screening methodologies, Ustaz, okay, they all majority actually share this common 1/3 hadith. But
Okay,
so like for
I
example,
explain.
life, Ustaz, like the AUFI, the FI, the SC, the Security Commission, the Dow Jones, the FTSE, the S&P, right, Ustaz? Why so many choices? They are all financial screening, right, Ustaz? And then we understand that financial screening, they base hadith, but why we have different types of methodologies in screening?
Okay,
When the
correct.
the 1/3, and then Ustaz say that actually 1/3 hadith that refer to the explanation of wasiat, and it's, mashallah, it's mind blowing. So let's get into it, Ustaz.
Okay. I was curious myself. Okay, I was curious myself, where is this 1/3 comes in? So when I had a compulsory course that I need to attend in Kuala Lumpur, attended by experts, Islamic finance experts. So while having lunch, I asked one of them. He is one of the member in Securities Commission, the Shariah Advisory Council for Securities Commission. So I asked him. Why actually is the reason. This is his answer.
Okay.
So I'm not saying every member has the same answer. I asked him why you set 1/3 criteria, 33%. So he said is to protect the Islamic market. One of the reasons, to protect the Islamic market. Because in Malaysia, you have Islamic banks. So if let's say you don't control the companies borrowing, you allow them to borrow conventional fund from conventional bank, then the money will flow out of the Islamic finance industry. People will tend to borrow from conventional banks rather than Islamic banks. So to control this flow, this is one of the reasons. To control this flow, they said if you want to borrow from conventional banks, we only allow 33%, but the rest you must borrow from Islamic banks. Okay, and if you borrow from Islamic banks, even 70%, it doesn't matter. Okay, so Islamic banks you can borrow even 100%. Okay, but if you want to borrow from conventional bank, we only limit you 33%. That is in Malaysia, or that is in majority Muslim countries. But in Singapore, you don't have such choice. If you have such choice, then maybe okay, it's quite reasonable for us to also follow the same criteria. But in Singapore, you don't have Islamic banks. Okay, companies, they have to move on with their business, and they have to borrow money. So they borrow from conventional bank, and I think it's acceptable. Okay, and that's how business run in Singapore. So if let's say somebody say, oh, Ustaz, your opinion is wrong, we need also to follow the 1/3 criteria. Okay, then I'm saying that if you say 1/3 criteria, then many companies in Singapore are non-Sharia compliant. No Muslim should work in that company. You understand the implication?
Yes.
Because our situation in Singapore is different. So if let's say example, I give one listed company, the borrowing is 37%, and there are many Muslims working in that company. So when you say it is not Sharia compliant, you are telling the Muslims working there, you are working in a haram company tau. You're working in a haram company. So that is the implication of your opinion. So we have to be careful, because in Singapore, our situation is so much different from other countries. We call it fiqhul waqi'. Fiqhul waqi' is to understand the situation of your country. Because back then, back then in Singapore, we have a lot of employment issues. When they open up the Marina Bay Sands, kan? Marina Bay
Yes.
Sands, and they open up, and they were asking, they open up 20,000 work, 20,000 employment. They ask, can
Fortunately.
Muslims work? So they say, can Muslim work in that company? We have to come up with a fatwa, kan? And the fatwa states, you can work in that company, but not work in the gambling area. The gambling area. Okay? So such is our situation. Okay?
We need
So
to
we
follow
need to understand.
of
Yes,
country.
you have to follow the oath. You have to follow the situation of the country. Singapore is not the same as in Bahrain. Bahrain, they follow AOP. Okay,
Yeah.
you go in Malaysia, they follow the Securities Commission. But in
Yeah.
Singapore, who do you follow? You have to make your own decision. I make my own decision, and I make my own understanding of Singapore's situation.
So,
That's how we invest.
so like for newbie investors, okay, the Muslim, how if we want to start investing, okay, on a Sharia compliance basis, and then we know about this screening, okay, we know about AOF, MSF. So actually, to what extent of knowledge should we know about this screening for newbie investors? Is that to which limit we need to know
Okay.
about, or we can just jump into a certain investment, or how actually for new people that want to
Okay.
start with and really taking care of the Sharia compartments.
Okay. So the screening is actually based on industry screening. Okay. So you look at the company, you see ComfortDelGro. ComfortDelGro is a transport company. So generally transport is Sharia compliant. You can invest in that company. You can work in that company. We have a lot of taxi drivers in ComfortDelGro. So Sharia compliant. Okay, regardless of the financial screening. Okay, you look at even SIA. Even SIA. Okay, SIA is a compliant company. Okay, SIA is a compliant company because SIA they have the four areas of the areas of companies. You have the Scoot, budget, and then you have the SIA, and then you have SIA transport or logistics. Okay, and I think another one is I think is uh, is Fish Fly or something. There's four areas of business. Okay, so SIA they serve alcohol, right?
Yeah.
Okay, they serve alcohol. So there is an income from the alcohol. But when you talk about the income from the alcohol compared being diluted from all these four companies, it's very small. That is where we follow the criteria because the guide is the revenue must not be more than 5%. The alcohol portion should not be more than 5%. That guide we follow.
I
Okay.
see.
So that is industry screening. All right. And Singtel. So you generally look at Singtel. Singtel is just a telecommunication company. You can invest in Singtel, no problem. Okay. But if let's say a company which is very clear it is haram, Pacific Brewery, it produce alcohol. Of course, you don't invest in that company lah.
Yes. For
Yeah.
example, is that right? When we talk about Dow Jones, okay, they prohibit advertisement and media business. Whereas, okay, the other methodologies of screening such as MSCI and FTSE allows for such businesses. What are your comments, Ustaz?
Okay. When I believe Dow Jones, they have their own Sharia board, Sharia advisors. And some Sharia advisors, they are more strict than others. You need to understand their mentality. And this is my experience with some of them. Some of them are extremely strict. Even during discussion in Maybank, I can see that some opinions are very strict. All right. And when they come to discussion in Singapore, when they want to be you want to have the same opinion, I said no, you cannot do that because I understand Singapore context. I need to explain to you the Singapore situation, and you cannot implement the same thing, or else we will never have a Islamic bank in Singapore. Okay, so I believe in Dow Jones. They have their Sharia advisor, and they might have opinion on such. because of certain individuals' opinion, and others they are more relaxed. Okay, so it is okay. Follow their own criteria. The same thing with some banks. Some banks in Malaysia, they don't allow certain products. Some banks, they allow certain products. But generally, if there's a general guide, then in banks in Malaysia, we follow the Bank Negara guideline. They call it policy document, PD. That is the guide given for all banks. All right. But if let's say, to me, if let's say with regards to advertisement, I will stay away from it. These are questionable. You see, this is gray area. Gray area is not very clear. I will stay away from. Okay. And then hotels. Hotels, can we invest in hotels? Though there are certain opinions with regards to hotel, I stay away from hotel because there are many other companies which you can invest in. You don't have to go into such area, such companies. Okay. So that the gray area you stay away from. All right. If let's say you have manufacturing company is all right. They manufacture chips, manufacture computers, cars, and so you can go into such company, and their returns and their performance are much better. Much better. You don't have to go into such company. There are other choices. So for me, I will stay away from such choices and go into areas which I know it is surely Shariah compliant.
Hence, Ustaz, we understand from your view is the importance of contextualizing the situation that we're in here and how we want to do investment and how we follow the norm that we are living right now. Correct, Ustaz? Right.
Correct.
So before we proceed, let us welcome again all our viewers, okay, that join us tonight. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. Okay, and with us tonight is Ustaz Kamal Mohktar, Sharia Advisor of Maybank Islamic, with the topic today about Sharia investment performance with principle. And here, Ustaz, let us look a few questions, okay, on the Instagram. There are someone that asked, Ustaz, Salam Ustaz, what's your thought to drive increased adoption and awareness in Islamic finance in Singapore? How to increase, Ustaz?
Okay, increasing, that means we should support lah. If there's any product that we have in Singapore, I think the general population should support it lah. Because if you look at the history of Islamic finance in Singapore, it's been declining. It's been declining. I think because of lack of awareness or maybe lack of support. Because I remember back then in the early 2000, we had Takaful. We had Takaful, HSBC, Keppel, then we go HSBC, and then in the end it closed down. Okay. For one reason or another, I would not discuss about the reason. So I think because of the lack of awareness, I believe. Because back then, our Muslim, maybe because of lack of asset, we don't have much asset. But today, Alhamdulillah, I'm seeing that people are driving fantastic cars. People are living in condominiums. We were talking living in bungalows, landed properties. Muslims are having the assets now. So I think they want to grow their assets. And basically growing the asset is not for yourself. It's also for your next generation. You want to ensure your next generation also are protected. I think that is the main objective. And also maybe to leave some legacy.
Yes.
Okay, they have asset. Maybe one day they want to wakaf. You make wakaf. That will be great.
Yeah.
All right. So I think if possible, if there's any product that is being introduced in Maybank or CIMB, I'm not promoting Maybank alone. There are certain products. Place our funds in this bank. Not necessarily 100%. You can just leave certain portions. Open up an account, support. Because at the end of the day, this industry, they look at bottom line. They look at the profit. Okay, they look at the amount of revenues and amount of profit generated by this company. So if let's say the profit is not encouraging, one day they might just say, okay, let's do away with Islamic finance, and we as a community we lose out. Okay.
So hence,
So I think
from the available supply start, we need to take care of the demand, and demand comes from the support from the society, the community.
yes,
Right?
yes, correct. Okay.
Follow-up question is that Malaysia, being our neighbour, came up with the screening criteria way back in 1997. Since then, they have refined their methodology to also include a qualitative assessment comprising of the securities, image, and maslahah. Should Singapore follow the methodology to screen Singapore-listed stock, since it's our closest neighbour with drastic similarities? And why hasn't other methodologies included this criteria? Example, public image in their methodologies.
Okay. As I mentioned, we are not you cannot compare apple to pear.
Yeah.
Okay, you cannot compare apple to pear. Yes, Malaysia is one of the most developed country with regards to Islamic finance.
And also
okay, and why they develop? Because of the support from the government. Huge support from the government. Okay, and also they have educational institution, universities supporting the industry. Okay, and also they have a lot of experts. They have a lot of current experts. Okay, so in Malaysia, I think a lot of countries are following the examples from Malaysia. Okay, but in Singapore you can't. In Singapore we have people who graduated from Islamic Finance University. They got no job. Okay, difficult for them to survive. It's a reality. We have to accept this reality. So and if the banking industry or the investment methodology you want to follow Malaysia, and you want to tighten, you are basically strangling your own neck. You're strangling your own neck. Okay, because you have to look things at the whole, in the whole. You cannot just suka-suka and say, oh, I think this. When you want to talk about certain issue, you have to look at the whole population. Yeah. You might come up with an opinion. You are actually causing harm. Okay, you are causing harm because in Singapore, if let's say you say, oh, you cannot buy Singapore property. You can take such opinion for yourself individually, but you cannot enforce it for 200,000 over workers in Singapore. Okay, you have about 850,000 Muslims in Singapore. That's why when you want to talk about fatwa, you talk about certain issues, you are looking at the whole context. Okay, because your fatwa and your opinion will affect these 850,000 people. Okay, and if let's say you want to tighten and follow Malaysian criteria, already you see HSBC closed down. Now you want to see the two Islamic window closed down because of your tightening process, and you are preventing Muslims from investing, because to me investing is the only way for you to build wealth. You need to build wealth. Okay, because if you don't start now, then you will have a lot of problem when you face retirement. Okay, we are not going to work forever, you know. And you cannot just rely on your CPF life to survive, because some people with the CPF life, you just have to just survive aja tau, because some of them they just get $1,000, and that's quite a lot, no? Yeah. $1,000 from CPF life, that's quite a lot. But some are only getting $400. This is the reality. I know a lot of people, they get $400. Then how to survive? Up to you can live up to 85 years old and even 90 years old. If you don't have money and you don't know how to invest, you will face a lot of difficulty. But if you know how to invest, that means at a ripe old age of 70, 80, you still can make your money work for you. Yes. And by then you will even get better. Okay, and to me, when only for this about 5 years period, I'm no more investing in SGX. I only have 1 or 2 companies in my portfolio, but I'm investing in the American market. The American market is even bigger, because Singapore is like you are fishing at Bedok Jetty, you know. The Singapore market is like fishing at Bedok Jetty. You get ikan tamban, you get ikan duri, maybe 1 or 2 stingrays. Okay, That is much you get in Singapore market. That means you are getting like 10%, 12%, 15%. You go to American market, you get 40%. You get 50% returns. Okay. And some, we call it the big baggers. The big baggers whereby companies perform extremely well. They give you 80% yearly returns, no? So imagine if, let's say, you are investing in these companies, then you are quite assured for yourself that, okay, in the future, you are basically quite secured lah. Quite secure. And anything happens to you, you can't work or you get sick or something happens to your employment, your investment will protect you. Yeah.
Okay, Ustaz. After we talk about the 6 methodologies of screenings, can a DIY Muslim investor mix and match the screening components? Okay, say using FTSE, wider threshold, and then use market cap as the denominator instead of the total asset, Ustaz.
No, I don't think that's the proper methodology. Okay, you cannot mix and match. It's like mixing and match the mazhab, you know. You know, it's like talfiq. You understand what is talfiq? Talfiq is just taking bits and pieces from this and that for your own convenience. Okay, so you say, oh, mazhab Malik allows this, mazhab Maliki, Shafi allows this, mazhab Hanafi allows this, so you just pick which part is allowed. That as a principle is not possible. So if let's say you take from FTSE, take wholesome lah. Take everything from FTSE. Okay, and Dow Jones take everything, but don't pick and choose like a buffet lah, a buffet, pick ni, and then for your own convenience, you will get confused. In the end, you will commit a lot of mistakes. Okay, if you want to follow a certain criteria, follow one and stick to it. Okay.
So we need,
right.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Ustaz, for the advice. Okay, Ustaz, next. Okay, investing for the long term versus trading for short term profits. Isn't the former much more Islamic, whereas the later sounds more like gambling? Could you clarify the misconception, Ustaz?
Okay. You need to understand the term gambling first.
Okay.
Alright. Okay, we need to understand what is gambling. Gambling, firstly, is that it is based on chance. It's based on chance. Okay. So that means gambling, you cannot control gambling because it's based on chance. Probability. You throw a dice, your chance of winning is 1 in 6. You throw 2 dice, chance of winning is 1 in 12, kan?
Yeah.
Okay. So you cannot control. But when you invest or you trade, is based on speculation. Speculation is different. A lot of people cannot differentiate between speculation and gambling. Speculation is taking risk, taking market risk. Okay, speculation is taking market risk. Right? But gambling is based on chance. Okay? So this is two huge, diverse difference between speculation and gambling. And a lot of people say speculation is gambling. No, it's not the same. Because we have to speculate. You buy property, I need to speculate whether the price of the property will increase in 5-10 years down the road, right? Okay. And I invest in a stock. I need to speculate whether this company the price will appreciate. Right? That is speculation. Okay, but when you gamble you have you just based on chance. Right? So if let's say in short, in summary, gambling has 3 characters. It has to follow 3 characters, which is you have to place a wager. You have to place a wager. That means money, anything of worth lah. Maybe 1 rice pun wager jugalah. 1 piece of rice, 1 piece of sweet is also wager. And then it's based on chance. And it's a zero-sum game. A zero-sum game meaning 1 must win, 1 lose. 1 minus 1 equals 0. Zero sum. That means 1 win, 1 must lose totally. Either you win big or you lose totally. That's gambling. But when you invest, you don't lose totally. You might lose some money, you might win some money. Okay? So investing in the long run, yes, of course, it is Islamic. Because when you invest, you are actually building the community. And Islam wants you to build the community. Because when you invest in that company, you want that company to grow. So the economy also grow. Because you will increase employment, you will increase production, you will increase the goods that's being produced. All right. And then you create sales. So in general, the economy will grow. That is the power of investment. All right. Trading also grow the economy. Okay. So if let's say you trade, because trading is actually the prophet's way of business now. Trading.
Yeah.
All right. Trading in back then when I was living in Medina, how they do trading is through auction now. Have you experienced auction? When I buy.
But I've never experienced.
Okay.
So
Okay. I'm not talking like auctions like in Sotheby's or in Christie's whereby they, okay, big million, 2 million, 2 million, then you raise your, like Mr. Bean kan, Mr. Bean, and then he increase, and then okay, 3 million, 3 million. Okay. In Medina when, yeah,
it's not that auction, right, Ustaz? Ke that auction? Are you referring?
that kind of auction, but in a smaller version,
Oh.
Okay. When I buy fish, okay, when I want to buy fish, they auction the fish.
Oh.
All right. So in the morning after Fajar, they will have this big collection of fish, and then they will start auctioning. So they say, okay, start with 20 riyals, 20, 20 riyal, 20 riyal, 30 riyal. So when you bid, increase lah. 50 riyal, 16 riyal, 17 riyal, 100 riyal. Okay, then they move on. Up to 700 riyal and up to 700 riyal for some fish.
Wow.
So that is trade. So when you buy the fish and then you sell off. You open your stall and you sell. You buy and it finish off within a few hours. And you have finished your goods. Okay? That is actually physical trading. And what we do through exchanges, either you do trading, day trading for stocks or day trading for forex. That is no issue. No problem. Okay, you buy and sell, and I believe that is what Abdul Rahman bin Auf practiced. When he arrived in Medina, within a few short days, he have made his fortune.
Yeah.
Okay, how did he make his fortune? He's not just buying and selling. He trades though. He trades. That means he buy cheap and then he sell at the higher goods. He buys cheap and buys and that means he buys in a lot of trading. That's how he creates his profit in one day. And people who trades, they can make a lot of profits if you have a lot of trades in one day. Okay, so some people day trading, they can do like 50 trades in a day. And every trade you make about maybe $10. Okay, $10 per trade. But when you do it 50 times, you're talking about $500, $600 per day profits tau.
Yeah.
So it's okay. It's okay. It's buying and selling. It's trade. It's okay. It's allowed in Islam. Okay, but again, some people, some scholars, they say trading is not allowed because they say trading is against speculation. The reason why they say trading is not allowed because they come back with the same issue, speculating.
Yes.
There's a huge difference between speculating and gambling. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Ustaz. So, indeed, we have already understood from Ustaz's explanation about the definition of gambling and the real way of the meaning of trading and what is investing. Thank you so much, Ustaz. Next, okay, let's go to the socially responsible investment, ethical investment, and environmental, social governance investing, Ustaz. Some of these methodologies are way stricter compared to the Sharia compliant investing, and some have been around since 1920s. Do you think, Ustaz, Sharia investing needs to be updated with more positive screening using elements of these methodologies on top of the current negative screening practice where we filter out securities?
All right. Social responsibility investing. Even in Maybank, we are trying to encourage. Okay, because there are certain funds out there who are specific to social responsibility investing. Okay, and Bank Negara is also encouraging. That is actually a higher level of investment. Higher level of investment. In Singapore, we are not even fulfilling the basic. How do you go into higher level? Higher level. Because if you, let's say you look at Maslow's the pyramid of needs, the Maslow pyramids of need, you need to fulfill your survival needs first,
Yeah.
survival needs, and then after that you talk about your comfort needs, and then the last is self-actualization, kan? I think I learned that last time lah. Maslow's the pyramid of needs. When you talk about social responsibility investment, you're talking about self-actualization tau. The peak of the pyramid. Kita belum sampai the second level and you want to go to the third, I think tak boleh, kita macam tak boleh angkat lah.
In simple words, Ustaz.
Tak boleh angkat lah, tak boleh angkat. So kita in Singapore, even the basic survival needs tu kita pun belum sampai lagi, belum fulfill lagi. Okay, we don't have a full Islamic bank. Okay, we don't even have a full Islamic bank. Until we have a few Islamic banks, we feel comfortable dealing with the bank like DBS. Okay, then we can talk about improving the because now we are still at the very basic level. It's good to have. Kalau boleh dapat, if you can reach that level, I think we have reached somewhere lah. Okay, and that is actually even in Malaysia, I think we should not focus on that. The Muslims are not. We should not focus on that because the industry is still very small. Okay, the industry is only about 3 trillion worth tau. 3 trillion. You know, a bank in China is worth 3 trillion, more than 3 trillion. One bank in China. So you're talking about the whole of the Islamic finance industry equivalent to one bank in China. So we are just like a small company tau. So you're talking about Islamic finance, you are talking about just a drop in the ocean.
Yeah.
So focus on something bigger, expand it, and then you talk about higher level punya products lah. Okay.
For the clarification. Okay, you have done different courses on investing since April last year, Ustaz. For REITs and also for SDX to Nasdaq to cryptocurrency. What motivated you to start these classes and why should people, register and listen to Ustaz Kamal Mohktar?
Okay lah. Okay, my main push is to introduce investing to the community.
Yeah.
Okay, and I learned from my own personal experience. And I think we can make money. Easily we can make money. 5% is easy. 5% is quite easy. Okay, it's no-brainer actually 5%. So if let's say people, because I think some people they discuss, we want to put in fixed D, and you want to invest in Singapore bonds, okay, or you want to place your funds in CPF retirement funds. I think you can invest much better. Okay, you can invest much better and get better returns because at the end of the day, when you invest, your money is compounding. Okay, your money is compounding, and if you really know how to strategize, you are actually in 1 year you can compound a few times. That's how you maximize lagi your punya profits. Alright, there are certain strategies that we can do that lah. So my main motivation is, first thing is to introduce to youngsters like you lah. I think because and I want to introduce it to my children lah. My children, I think sama baya dengan you lah. So if let's say people who are very young, they start investing at a young age, when you hit 30, you will be quite well off because of the compounding effect. All you have to do is just spend maybe about $200 per month, set aside and buy an equity. So every year your money is growing. Okay, so once you hit 30, 35, okay, you can retire. Possible for you to retire if you know how to invest already, and then you can keep on retiring and let your money work for you, and you can do other things. You can focus on other things. Maybe you want to focus on the community, building the community, and so on. Carry on. You can do a lot with your life lah. So that is my motivation lah.
So the
Okay.
key point
So
is to start, and how to start to educate ourselves. And mashallah Ustaz, may Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala reward you for this initiative that you have been doing since last April to educate, because this is an important element that we should actually part in our life, you know, to think about the future and to think about our financial sustainabilities, right? So, okay.
yeah.
Right, Ustaz, let's go to our Slido's questions. Okay, the question here. That's a very interesting question. Is it wrong to have intention to invest just to get rich? Can Muslim get rich? The question is that.
Yes. Yes, definitely. That's the reason for you to invest. You want to get rich. In fact, Islam wants you to be rich. Okay. We don't say Islam asks you to become poor, because the hadith, the Prophet says, al-mu'min al-qawi khairun wa ahabbu ila Allah min al-mu'min al-da'if. A strong mu'min is better and more loved by Allah than a weak mu'min. So strong meaning strong in everything. Strong financially, strong mentally, strong physically, strong in terms of their facilities and whatever. Okay, so that means you have to be strong. And when you are strong financially, you can assist the poor. Okay, because not everybody can become rich. Not everybody become rich, because when you talk about rich only about 10% of the community will become rich, super rich. Okay, statistically lah, 10%, and this 10% own 90% of the wealth. 10% owns 90%. So if let's say we have wealthy Muslims, we will benefit from the zakat. We will benefit from the zakat and the sadaqah. And Muslims generally, this is my experience. We have businessmen in the community who are rich. They want to give infaq. They want to give sadaqah. Okay, easily. So if we have a few of these wealthy, and even if we have many wealthy people, we will benefit as a community. Our community will be strong. Okay, we should not have a misconception that we have to be poor and then we say, oh, wealth ni cause a lot of questions in the hereafter, kan? Okay, but the poor, they were envious of the rich, kan?
Yeah.
So the hadith, they say the poor came to the Prophet and said, they say, oh, the rich have left us. The rich have left us. So the Prophet says, why have left you? They say, oh, they pray as we pray, they fast as we fast, they make zikr as we make zikr, but they have wealth and they give away their wealth. So they were envious. They were envious. So being wealthy is actually a virtue. Many of the companies, they were wealthy, so there's nothing wrong with wealth, but get your wealth according to the Islamic principle lah.
Correct.
Don't say, oh, just to be wealthy, I don't care halal ke haram, I just want to be wealthy. No, you be wealthy according to Islamic ethics, Islamic principles. Carry on. Okay, and I hope we have many rich people. And of course, in Singapore, you know, living in a very expensive city, you need to be well off, or else our community will face a lot of problems now. Yeah.
Thank you, Ustaz. The next question. What is the difference between investing in something that is high risk compared to betting or gambling, since there are high risk Shariah compliant funds?
Yeah. Okay. In the Sharia, they call it al-ghurmu bil-ghumni. Al-ghurmu bil-ghumni, that means more risk, more returns.
Yes.
Okay? More risk, more returns. So if let's say you go into more risk, definitely the Sharia allows you for more returns lah. So if let's say you want to invest in higher risk products, then of course you expect to get higher risk, higher returns, and that is fair. You know, when the prophets and the companions, when they go on a caravan, they take a very high risk, no? Bringing their caravan from Mecca to Sham, to Syria, they face burglary, otak-otarik, they face flooding, they face sandstorm, a lot of risk. So you might lose all your investment tau.
Broad, right?
So and then itu baru going trip, balik belum balik lagi tu, balik belum lagi. So going to and fro to a lot of risk, they might lose their investment. So that's what they face. So if let's say you want to invest in higher risk product, carry on. But of course you make your due diligence lah. Don't go empty blindfolded lah. Okay, make your studies, make your because risk, if it is you can see that it is profitable and you will get your returns, carry on. Example like cryptos lah. Cryptos is a very high risk product.
Yeah.
Okay, cryptocurrency. But the returns are extremely huge. Okay, you see people who invest in cryptos become billionaires, bukan millionaire, billionaires. Okay, so meaning that a small amount of investment will give you higher, and to me, I see crypto is something that the returns are even much better than stocks and equities. Okay, so I have some investment in cryptos, but small investment, but I believe it will grow within 2 or 5 years, but the growth will be 10 to 50 times, 10 to 50 times growth. For equities, you are expecting like 1 year, 40%, 50%. But in crypto, you're talking about 10 to 50 times. Okay, 10 to 15 times, not percent, times. So you're talking about thousands worth of profits. So it is, if you want to invest in anything, carry on lah. Carry on.
Okay, Ustaz, there's another question. Maybe for me, this is he or she might be really confused. Why can Muslim invest in bonds, although the bonds, for instance, belongs to telecommunication stock? And then, Ustaz, what's the difference between bonds, stock? I think it's a bit confusing, the question, but yeah, Ustaz, maybe you can clarify to us.
Okay. Okay, for bonds, it's actually loan. It's a big word for loan. Okay, because when you want to take loan, normally you go to the bank. Okay, but when your loans become big, you cannot go to the bank because it's too big. Banks have their own they have their own policy whereby only they allow a certain amount of loan. So if let's say you want to borrow from a bank, a company goes to a bank, they can borrow from they call it syndicated loan syndicated loan. That means you borrow from 5 banks. 5 banks. Instead of borrowing, you need like you need 5 billion. You need 5 billion because bond is not small. You need 5 billion. So one bank can allow you to borrow only 200 million. Okay. So in Singapore, you have 3 banks, 200 tak cukup lah. Tak cukup. So they have to issue bond. They have to go to the capital market. Okay. Bank is one industry, banking, insurance, and then we have the capital market. So if let's say you want to have bigger loan, you have to borrow from bonds, bond market. Okay, or you issue bond. Okay, you issue bond. Say like SIA, SIA they want to buy planes, So they need like $2 billion, $3 billion, or even $5 billion, or even $10 billion. Huge company. So they issue bond. Bond is just like a certificate. Certificate, say one certificate is $10,000. One certificate $10,000. So they print 1,000 certificate. Okay, 1,000 certificate. So anybody who wants to buy certificate, carry on lah. Ahlan wa sahlan lah. If you have 10,000, buy one certificate lah. And each certificate will promise you with a certain interest. They call it coupon. Instead of interest, they say coupon. Ini dia punya terminologies ni because of different sector, dia punya terms different, that's why we are confused. But basically the concept are all the same. Concept wise are all the same. Cuma nama aja. Like macam you say, oh you need proofs, you need affidavits, you have a summit, you have a seminar. seminar and summit sama je, cuma high level je. Menteri-menteri, they don't call it meeting, they call it summit. Macam tu. Okay. So bond is just loan. So they give interest. So that's why bond is just loan and that's why we cannot invest in bonds lah. Because it's interest based. It's interest based. Okay. So tapi nanti kalau government bonds tu cerita lain lagi. Government bonds tu itu cerita lain. Tu I have made an article, ada orang criticize me for that article. I argue that Singapore bond is not like corporate bond. Because of certain factors.
Yes. Faham, Ustaz. So thank you so much, Ustaz. Okay, one last
Okay,
question.
and maybe one question tadi dia tanya, what is the difference between stocks pula kan? Investing in stocks. Okay, okay. When you invest in stocks, you're talking about taking, you buying a part of a company. You're investing in a company. So if let's say you know SIA kan? SIA, now dia punya stock price is about $5, $5.15 lah katakan, $5.15. So you need to buy 100 shares. So you buy $515. If you have $515, you buy lah. So you own part of SIA. Now you are an owner of SIA. You are a business owner. So you can tell, I own SIA tau. So megah sikit lah. So if let's say you own ComfortDelGro ke, you own Singapore Post, you are the owner. So by being an owner, if they generate profit, they will share the profit with you. They will share the profit with you. That is what we call dividend. Okay, that is called dividend. And also SIA price, kalau SIA perform very well, now you buy at $5.15, 1 year down the road, it increased to $6. So you make profit kan? If you sell the share, you have already made 85 cents. You made 85 cents from every share. So that's how you make profit from stocks lah. So stocks ni kita panggil stocks, you invest in shares, you invest in equities. Same. Semua same term. Cuma lain-lain aja. Lain-lain term. Semua maknanya sama. So you don't get confused lah when people talk equities, when people talk shares, we talk stock, same thing. Cuma bonds saja dia punya konsep different. Bonds tu loan.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ustaz. It's a clear explanation. Ustaz, one last question. Okay, Ustaz, we all have different preference bila kita nak buat investment, betul tak? But there are some saying that says that gold investing is the most stable investment. Do you have any opinion about that?
Okay. For gold, dia punya investment tu lain sikit. Okay? And gold should be part of your portfolio. Okay. Gold should be part of your investing portfolio lah. Because when we invest, there's a lot of asset class lah. A lot of asset class. You might invest in properties, you invest in stock, you invest in fixed deposit, Islamic fixed deposit, you invest in gold. Diversification so if let's say you want to invest in gold, first thing, gold is good for they call it hedging process, hedging mechanism. Hedging mechanism is to protect your wealth. Okay, so when you buy gold, you know that your wealth is protected. Say katakan gold, you can buy, whether you can buy in gold bullion, you want to buy gold mask, best is gold mask lah. Buy for your wife ke, your children mask, it's secure. That means they always know that there's wealth with them. So suddenly we do not know about the economy. Nauzubillah, if Singapore becomes like Zimbabwe, or Ecuador, or some other countries where the money suddenly devalues so much, $1 becomes just 1 cent. Okay, so that means all your wealth is wiped out now. All your dollars are all your money in the banks are all becomes like banana currency. Banana currency during time Jepun, banana currency. But if you have gold, then you still have property tau. That gold is still worth that same value, whatever happens. Okay, So you need to have some gold as your property. Okay, to protect yourself from such things. Right? And on top of that, gold is also an investment because gold price will always go up. Gold price will always go up. No matter what. Because gold is going against riba. Gold is always going against riba. Because when you talk about interest rate, the value of money will always decrease year after year. Right? And also because of inflation, your money will decrease lah. But gold will not decrease in value. Alright, so in the time of the Prophet, 1 dinar can buy a goat. Today, 1 dinar can still buy a goat tau. That one gold piece too, still buy the same goat tau. So after 1,400 years, that gold value is protected. Alright, so if you have the gold, you keep it for many years, it will still buy the same goods 30, 400 years down the road. That is the power of gold.
The value.
Okay? The value is secured because of gold. So kalau and also my experience when 20 years back when I came back after studies, I bought a gold bracelet for my wife lah. 1 gram is $19. That's 20 years back 1 gram $19. Now how much is 1 gram? Do you know how much is 1 gram? Do you go to check?
No, I
tak beli
don't.
emas Go and survey lah. $1.76. 1 gram is $76. 1 gram $76 now. Imagine 20 years ago $19. Sekarang dah $76 tau. 3 years back, I bought some amount of gold. It was 56. Now 76. Dah naik dah banyak tu.
Yes.
So if
dollars Ustaz.
So if let's say you buy, alright, if you buy gold, you will not lose. Okay, it protects your wealth and also it will appreciate. Okay, so and of course gold pun ada dia punya ornaments lah, pakailah cantik-cantik.
Yes.
For ladies lah.
Ada correct Ustaz.
Yeah, ada many benefits from gold.
Thank you so much, Ustaz. But before we close our IG live, okay, maybe can we Ustaz Kamal have 1 or 2 words for the last, for what is investment, Shariah investing, and what should we have in mind? So one last word from you, Ustaz.
Okay. My advice is learn how to invest. Okay, because I believe knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Because when you start investing, you get better and better. Of course, you can make mistake. You will make mistake, and you will lose money because of that mistake. It's okay. It's a learning process. Okay, but it's like riding a bicycle. You will fall. You will fall and you get hurt. It's okay. All right. So you lose some money, but long run, you will get better. And when you invest in a company, after many years down the road, you will get familiar with that company. And if that company is giving you good returns, you know that you continue with that company, you will still give you good returns unless something happens lah. Okay, so understand like 5 or 10 companies, monitor them in Singapore. Like for me, I have like about 50 companies in the American markets. I'm monitoring these 50 companies. I'm increasing them to 100 companies. Okay, 100 companies. Okay, so that I know out of these 100, which one gives me the top performance, the best return. Okay, because it's just like watching soccer. Some people like to watch soccer. I like to watch the stock price. Okay, some people watch soccer, immediately they know the top soccer team kan. Liverpool, Manchester, Chelsea, Arsenal. You taklah pergi watch companies, teams like macam I in the 80s, I watch Ipswich football team, Ipswich sekarang nobody know about Ipswich. Takkan you nak invest dengan Ipswich. You are going to watch Arsenal, Liverpool or Manchester. The same thing with companies. Once you are familiar, you know which are the top companies. Okay,
Yeah.
and you will get better and better. You know how to analyze the company, look at the fundamentals, and and then you understand the market. What are the things that affect the market? Your experience will grow. Okay,
Right.
this experience is a very expensive lesson, though. Nobody will teach you.
Until
And
you
when until you try, or maybe I conduct courses lah.
yeah.
when I conduct courses, I share my experience lah. So your learning process is cut short.
Correct.
It's cut short. And in Singapore, before I invest pun, I tengok, I attended some courses, not cheap tau.
Mm.
I attended, they say free. They say free, so I attended free. After that, they market dia punya course. One course is like $5,000, $10,000. I said, wow, eh, that much, eh? I get frustrated jugalah. Okay, of course, you need to remember, there's no
Yes.
free lunch lah. I tell my
Mm.
children also lah, there's no such thing as free lunch. You cannot expect free for anything. There is something behind it lah. In finance, somebody gain, you also gain. That is win-win lah, basically in the financial world lah.
Correct.
Okay, alright.
So much. May Allah SWT bless you with the initiative that you have made, and also thank you for the sharing. We all benefit a lot from you and we learn a lot from you. Okay, thank you so much. And I believe, Ustaz, we can go on and on. Really, everyone is really anticipating and having a lot of questions, and we want to learn more. Okay, hence, okay, catch Ustaz punya courses. Okay, not courses, Ustaz, you call it courses or lessons or classes? Okay lah,
I put
around.
seminar. It's a seminar.
Okay, yeah, so catch Ustaz future seminars, okay, on how to invest in Sharia compliance, okay. Ustaz will share more there, inshallah. But time is not on our side. So also do look out on IFSG space for the next episode of More Than Just Money, okay, series, a series for anything that is Islamic finance related. So once again, thank you to Ustaz Kamal and thank you to everyone, and see you again. Good night and stay safe. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Ustaz.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you very much.
Alright, Ustaz.